Good afternoon. Good afternoon. You all were giving some time for some people to pop in. Good afternoon on this beautiful cold, at least here in the Delta, Sunday afternoon. It's about 25 degrees here, so it's a little chilly. We are going to get started shortly, but we are very excited today to have the one and only Miss Nikisha Henderson, who joins us each year to close out our year with some form of nuggets for going into this season, whether it's emotional or mental wellness, relational wellness. We encounter many things during this time of year, and I'm just grateful that she chooses to come back and join us each year around this time to give us some words of wisdom as we go into this. You all have to excuse my swinging chair in the background. I have my little one in my arms, and my newest addition to the family. So we are very, very excited this afternoon to be going through this relationship roadmap with look, I was about to speak it into existence. Case, I was about to say Dr. Henderson. I was about to speak it into existence. So look, it must be coming, So, um, well, we are gonna. We have right now. We have Keisha. She's here with us, but she's in the background. We're getting ready to bring her on stage as soon as she's ready. But we are just very excited. We want to thank those of you who were able to participate with our bags of grace. I think it went very well. We were able to get bags out, and I still have bags to get out to some of our local homeless. We will be kicking off a new venture. We are sponsoring or partnering, excuse me, with a shelter out of Thomasville, Georgia, and we'll be uh, having that um, founder with us on next Saturday to come on and talk with us about the organization and the needs of that particular organization. So we are very excited for that as well. Um, so yes, we're gonna let some people know that we're here. We're using StreamYard today, so sometimes it's a little difficult where we're streaming through StreamYard. So sometimes it takes a second for it to pop in. So if you are looking at this as a replay, and just know that we'll be starting shortly. When we talk about relationships, we have so many different types of relationships that we encounter on a daily basis. When we look at our circle of influence, we have the inner circle, and it makes me think about um, Jesus and his three disciples that he considered a part of his inner circle. And as individuals, we have those same inner circles, and then we have the layers as they spread throughout. And each layer, there are things that we encounter. And I'll tell you what my goal today is as I'm listening to uh, Miss Nikisha speak today with relationship roadmaps. I'm looking for and thinking about those different layers and who are the individuals in my life that are a part of those particular layers. I often listen to Darius Daniels. He's a pastor originally from Mississippi, but is based out of New Jersey and Atlanta at this time. And he talks about he wrote a book on intellect relationships intellect, or I can't think of the name of it, but anyway, it dealt with relationships, and it talks about where you place people in your life based on where you are at the time. And so I'm just thinking about those various types of relationships again that I encounter on a daily basis. And my goal today is to get some nuggets, some inspiration from Miss Nakisha, and take those into this 2026. You guys are right around the corner. Right around the corner. Kason says hello to everyone. And so, Kish, when you're ready, you just give me a thumbs up. Come on in, come on in, call a friend, grab your coffee, get on in here. You guys, and I'm asking also if you would share this with someone as we're waiting. Go ahead and share the link. You can share, this is a StreamYard link, so you can share it in your text messages, in your email. Just forward this to someone. All right. I think we're about ready in just a second. Come on in, tell a friend. Granny baby gonna be good today. Say hello, everybody. Say hello. We getting ready to get started. If you all are plugging in, I have my newest addition visiting with me as we are live today. So you all will have to excuse us, but he's in his granny's arms today. So he said, I'm looking, I want to see what's going on too. Oh, okay. Okay. All right, you back. I
Yeah,
couldn't
I
hear
was
you.
like, I'm ready. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to share, Tracy. So you may have to share on your end if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Did you send it to my email?
Huh?
Did you
Yep,
send
I
it to
sent
my?
it to your personal email. Well, it says you are a Jewel email.
Okay, cool. Let
Yep.
me let me
If you
grab it
got
real
it,
quick.
it's a Google link. So I don't if you have trouble opening, let me know and I can
Okay,
go ahead
let's see.
and get that for you. But good evening, everybody. Of course, we're not tardy to the party. We always starting on time. So we like to give people enough time to get on. I know we had a busy Sunday, if y'all like me, running from one thing to the next and jumping over the river to get through the woods, right? And so, as Tracy said, I want to drop a few nuggets. We are getting ready to go into 2026. And we always set these amazing goals for ourselves. And I wanted to kind of do something different. I always lean into mental health when it comes to, what are we going to be talking about at the end of the year. But I really want us to look at some relationships that we already have established, whether so many different types of dynamic of relationships that we already are in. And so I wanted us to kind of look at making those relationships healthier. How do I sustain some of those? How do I end the ones that aren't serving me purpose? And so, really, that's what I would love for us to be able to talk about today. Of course, Tracy, I won't be able to see everybody else that's on the screen, so I'm gonna always use Dr. Tracy as my guinea pig.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And we want to make sure that we just have casual conversation. But if y'all have any questions whatsoever, put them in the chat. I want to be able to get to whatever I need to be able to get to. And so whenever Dr. Tracy gets those slides up and running, we're gonna be ready to roll. So
can you share them with me one more time?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
I went to presentation and it doesn't seem like
not coming up.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can do that for you real quick. It's so Google is so protected now with everything. I don't know why.
Yes, it is.
Gotta send a link, gotta share it. So I'm just gonna share.
Okay.
And let's see what can happen here. Can view. Actually, I better make sure you make it to where you can edit. That may be why Tracy didn't.
Okay.
Whatever the case may be, we're gonna get it done, y'all. I promise.
As always.
We're gonna get it done. Let me see, sent here. Oh, we didn't. That's probably why I didn't. Okay. Let's see. You are Jewel2022@gmail.com, right?
That's right. All right, here we go. I think we're getting somewhere. Let's see. Open. Okay, let me go back to StreamYard. I'm back on this end with you, and I want to. Okay. Keisha, you can go ahead, tell them just a little bit about your I heard you talking about your session today, but if you want to, because I think I may have to download it. So let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna have to download it. I know what I need to do. Let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna. Oh, okay, baby. Okay, thank you.
And she sent you some documents.
Hey. Oh no, I got backstage. You muted, Tracy.
Okay. Look, I've got it up here, but I was trying to get it do a save as on here. Hold on, let me export it. Let me download it as a
Okay.
Oh yeah. I think that's the only way we're gonna get it to do it. There we go. Here we go. Girl, I think we're getting somewhere. Woo,
We
woo,
getting
woo,
we
woo.
finding fish grease now. We good.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
All right. Thank y'all so much
Yeah.
for your patience. I appreciate it. Just a little bit
Absolutely.
about me who may not know. I wear several hats. Sometimes my regular Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, I work with Canopy Children's Solutions as the Learning and Development Training Manager. And then I also am a personal life coach and a skills trainer, within our community, just kind of seeing people through whatever specific skill set that they want to develop and grow on their own. So sometimes I'll hold these master classes. I also just am new to the game of being a podcaster. I just started a podcast called In This Season, where right now I'm running like this episodes of, it's called Her Story, interviewing these dynamic women along the Mississippi Gulf Coast who are just kind of entrepreneurs, finding their way through life. They've evolved through just some hard times and just becoming, the woman that they desire to be. And so that's called Her Story. I've got all my contact information at the end in case anybody would ever need me for anything. I do a lot of speaking engagements. I just want to be helpful in whatever way God sees fit to use me. So I'm always grateful that Dr. Tracy has a platform, and I always say this, to where women can share, not only share, but gain knowledge of things we may not even know about, or just do a deeper dive on stuff that we may already know about. And so she has always been this visionary and this innovative woman who kind of takes charge, creating the space and the place that we may not already have. And so I kind of bit off her a little bit. And
that's all right. That's all right.
They say imitation is the best form of flattery. So
absolutely.
I see what she does, and I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna jump on it too, jump on that bandwagon.
Yes.
Even if everybody had a platform, I don't think we'd have enough, because it's so many different healthy topics we could be talking about. And speaking of that, I'm gonna go right into it. Relationship roadmap, not just intimate relationships, y'all, but just relationships that we deal with on a daily basis. There are certain tools and skills that we have to put in place in order to maintain a healthy relationship. And so, Tracy, you can go to the next slide. I want to first talk about what is the word healthy, right? Because a lot of times we just be getting in stuff and we don't even realize that it is unhealthy for us. And so if we look at the word healthy, it means that it's not only good for me, but it's good to me, right? It is something that allows me to thrive. If you look at that first, the first little picture at the top, it's a seed, a seedling that's starting to bud and starting to grow. When we get in these new relationships, whether they're friendships, whether they are community groups, whether they're church, whether it's a new romance, y'all, it feels good, right? It's like, wow, this is new. I love it. And we are on fire about it. And so in that moment, we really do see futuristic things. We want it to grow. We want it to thrive. I don't want to just be in something for being in the sake of it. Those particular things, family, we don't get to pick our families, but we do get to pick what type of relationships we develop with people. And so those healthy relationships, they're flexible and adaptable. These are relationships that I can maneuver in and out of. They don't take so much, but even if they do, they're worth it. Right, the sacrifice is worth it when I'm get into the right relationship, when I get into the right friendship. Even your job is a relationship, y'all. Even your, with the Most High, God Almighty, Jehovah, that's a relationship. And so, everything that we do, it needs to move cohesively to accomplish a goal, whatever goal we have set for that. And so, people, if we think about it, our needs are going to be met in order to develop and grow. And so I want you to think about this for a second. You see two flowers over here to your right. That top flower is thriving, is growing, is looking good. So that's what healthy looks like. Think about a flower in its prime, how beautiful. And some flowers be so pretty, you don't even want to pick them, right? You just be like, oh, let me just look at it and adore it because I grew that thing out of nothing. But also, look at that bottom flower. That's an unhealthy fly. It's about to be on. It's on its last leg. Really, for good wind come through, it's gone. And so when we think about these healthy relationships, when we think about even the dead relationships, y'all, nothing grows without the proper environment. Let me say that again. Nothing grows without the proper environment. So too much of something can kill it. Not enough of something can kill it. And then even if you have a beautiful rose, if you put it in Nevada, it's going to die. Why? Because it's too hot. It's not the right climate. So there's certain things that we need to cultivate and have a good relationship. And we don't want the dead flowers. We don't want that ugly look. But there are times, have y'all known people that try to resuscitate when we need to be letting go, right? And so one thing that I've noticed, even with dead flowers, I remember going through one of my mom's keepsakes, and she had some dead flowers from somebody gave her flowers years ago, and they were inside of a Ziploc bag. And I said, why are you keeping this? And she was like, oh, it's just a memory of such and such. And I was thinking, wow, that is powerful. That is so powerful that we hang on to dead petals. I've seen people keep old corsages, flowers and boutonnieres from possibly a memorial service. It means something. We give value to a lot of things. And sometimes we give value to dead things. And so we have to be careful with that, because once again, we're focusing on healthy relationships. All right, you can go to the next slide, Tracy. So I want you for a moment, Tracy, you're going to probably have to unmute yourself, but I want you to think about, what do you actually need in order for you to have a healthy relationship? I just want you to pick a few of these. What do you need to have a healthy relationship?
Well, I'll tell you, for me, first and foremost, if there's no trust there, it's an absolute no-go for me. So
Okay.
that's a definite. That's at the top of my list before I even start going forward. I think the other component of that for me is respect. You know, we can agree to disagree. I can have a complete different opinion. You know, a lot of people say, well, I can't deal with somebody who thinks that way. I can. Yep. Because my thing is, I seek first to understand, and then to be understood. So you as a human being, you have a right to have your opinion, and that does not mean the things that we have in common are diluted in any way. You just have a different opinion about certain things. So the level of respect on both ends are very important to me. I think the other thing, if I had to pick a third thing there, I would say empathy, and not empathy in the sense of, you know, I know people think about empathy and sympathy. I am one that if I am in a relationship with you in any kind of way, whether it's a work relationship or a intimate relationship, I empathize with people. I am a relator. So I feel what you feel, and my thing is, I try to put myself in your shoes. I could be sitting down watching a show, and I put myself in, what if that were me type situation. Absolutely. So those things, of course, you know, with those things, if you are trustworthy and there's a level of respect, then there will be kindness, you know. There will be, you know, communication, because how do you know whether you trust a person or not if there's no form of, whether it's positive or negative, you know what I mean?
That's right.
There's positive and negative communication. But I think those three, in that order, trust, respect, and empathy would have to be my top.
So I love how, and there are y'all so many different other words that people have as far as their needs. But what I like that you did, Dr. Tracy, is that you knew exactly what you needed and why you needed that. You would be so surprised at how many people who cannot articulate that.
Listen, and I'm going to tell you this. Remember I told you when you and I talked years ago, when I decided, well, I didn't decide, you know, the Lord planted a seed in me, and I have, you know, asked him to help me to evolve, right? But I can tell you there was a point in my life when I wasn't able to just tell you what involves a healthy. There are many relationships that I've had throughout my life that I question now.
Yeah.
Like, why was I there? We live life forward, but understand it backwards.
Yes,
So
God.
that's where I am with that. Yes. So I'm very different in this stage in my life. They say as you get older.
You have a better understanding.
Yes, absolutely.
Wisdom comes through that. That's exactly what that is, right? So many people, when I ask, what do you want from a relationship? And a lot of people may not be able to articulate what they want, but they do know what they don't want. And that's based off that past trauma of relationships that we might have had. And y'all, once again, I'm talking about the holistic approach of a relationship. I'm talking about siblings, parents, your children, different types of relationships. But one thing we all have in common is that in order for them to be healthy, there has to be growth. And so knowing what you want is the first step. I want to be able to resolve a conflict healthy. I want to be able to have somebody I can have honest conversation with and not feel like I have to walk on eggshells because I'm hurting their feelings. And so we have to be able to pick out certain words. And like I said, there are a plethora of words, but there's also another indicator. You can go to the next slide of what, where, and with who. And the reason why I say that is because we saw all those words, but we may not need those words from specific dynamics in our life, right? So at work, I need specific things, but church family, I need specific things. My partner, I need affection and intimacy. I may not need that from a coworker, right? From my parents, even as we are adults, there are still needs that we have from our parents, right?
Yes.
What about us who have adult children or grandchildren, right?
Yes.
What do we need from them? And then our friends, what are we needing from them? And y'all, that's why I say it's so important. But as you move throughout these different dynamics, your needs may change as well. Yes. I noticed at work when there was a time when I was a young Keisha, I wanted accolades. I needed praise. I needed you to acknowledge when I did something good. I don't need that anymore, right? And so there also, don't have a need to be on time, and that's a bad thing sometimes. But to other people, if I'm on the other part of that flip side of that, if they need that, I got to be able to give that to them. So that's that balance. That balance. So it depends on where you are, who those people are to you, and what you have to give. Reciprocity, I could do a whole show on just that. Because a lot of people want to only give you what they want. But there may be people that you meet who need something different. Can you give it, right? But I'm going to say that for the end. I'm going to save it for the end. But I want you to just think about that. How these different things need to be healthy and why they need to be healthy. So you can go to the next slide. Think about 4 foundational principles. These are the 4 foundational principles for having a healthy relationship. I'm not going to go in and start building a roof if I don't have a concrete slab and walls, right? I can't. The roof can be pretty. I picked it out, but I forgot to pour my concrete on a stable ground. And so I want you to think about these. These are the 4 core things that I have to have in order to establish a healthy relationship. And Tracy, you spoke on 3 of them. Really good. And so we as people, sometimes we lack in these, or we become very lazy with them, even in giving. And so please know that in the relationship, it's going to be ebbs and flow. There may be a time where I can't give certain things, but there should never be a time where I compromise on these. Right? These are foundational. And so knowing when you are dealing with an untrustworthy person can stop you from a lot of hurt. Knowing when you're dealing with somebody who is constantly disrespecting you can, nip it in the bud. Maybe it's somebody who doesn't know how to communicate or who won't respect your boundaries. You have to be able to have hard communication or hard conversations, when our boundaries are being crossed. And so I am seeing as we get more and more into technology, even with ChatGPT or whatever AI companion we're using, I'm starting to see a lot more people not be sociable. We'll type a lot of stuff on Facebook and we'll type a lot of stuff under people's, giving them accolades, but see them in person and won't even speak. And I'm just like, you realize y'all not really friends. I am friendly, but I may not be your friend because we haven't met all of these needs that I have or the requirements that I have for a friendship.
Absolutely.
And so that's kind of where people get the lines blurred. But I just want to pause for a moment. I'm going to talk about each one of these individually, and then I'm going to go back and I want to also, give you some information on how to end relationships, because there is a healthy way to end a relationship as well. Okay, you can go to the next slide. First one we want to talk about, y'all, is trust. Tracy picked that. That was her first word, because that is true for a lot of us. If we don't have trust, we can't go any further. But trust you to do what? Right? How do I even establish that? And so early on, when we start meeting people, I am, and I don't know about you, Tracy, but I am one of those people that's like, everybody gets the initial trust from Keisha. Everybody.
Now, see, Keisha, I'm the opposite.
Okay.
And people don't. I don't make people feel uncomfortable with that, but I am a very it doesn't, in my heart and in my mind, I'm a very reserved person. Like, I'm watching you, I'm being very nice.
Yeah.
I'm being very cordial, but it's very few people because I have trusted off the cuff.
Yeah. I gave blind trust before.
Yes, but so it's the complete, and that may be not a good thing, but it's the complete opposite for me. Trust is earned for me.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't treat you any differently. It's not like I'm standoffish. It would be just as if I do, but I'm watching the situation, and it's like it's almost for me as an internal checklist.
Yeah.
That, okay, so this person said they were going to do this. They did it. Okay, well, that's check one. So, but that's me on the inside. So
well, and you said a key indicator from people from your past. So we tend to operate on past hurt.
Yeah.
And I don't want to feel that no more. So at all times, I'm going to be in survival mode with you till you show me something different. You remind me of such and such. So I'm going to put you over here because they used to do just that. And so I'm seeing certain characteristics and certain behaviors in people, and maybe I have to work with them. I'm used to, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I can tell she lie a lot. I ain't even finna deal with her. You know what I'm saying? So, because if you, what do we say? You lie about something small like that, you a big lie. I know you tell lies. So that's our protective factor for ourselves. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. We have to tell people, and actually, when we're creating those boundaries, we got to open up and let them know, look, there's some stuff I'm seeing I just don't agree with. I don't like it. So we got to be able to, I'm not going to tell you to be like Keisha. I'm going to tell you to protect yourself. You got to protect yourself, because the first thing we're going to say is, I knew that about them. Why did I let my guard down?
Yeah.
Why did I give them a chance? And we'll be mad at ourselves. And then we'll have that bitterness, and we're, walking around with that. But I want you to just think about a general trust, right? And if I have to go to an overall trust, I want you to think about the police. When I call the police, I wouldn't expect for them to come and hurt me, right? But
exactly.
when we see now, that could possibly be a chance, right? I could possibly be calling the police to come help me, and then I get hurt. I go to prison. And so that trust, even from people watching others vicariously, we can lose trust in people and not even having an experience with them one-on-one. But then there's also, because that's a negative, there can also be, I'm watching Tracy interact with this person, don't know this person at all, but instantly I'm like, oh my God, this is such an amazing person. Look at how she's dealing with Tracy. But that's based off of their relationship. I don't know how long Tracy knew this person. I don't know how she moved with them, what they've worked out in life, how well they're doing. But instantly, I may think she's a trustworthy person based off of Tracy's experience with them. And so trust is that interpersonal relationship, y'all. And it has to give us a form of security. Without that security, and if I don't feel supported in it, I'm not going to grow. And once again, no growth means it's not healthy. So I have to be able to have confidence in you being reliable. You got to show up when you tell me you're going to show up. You got to be there. You got to turn that thing in. You got to be consistent with it, which is why a lot of people lose trust in people so quick.
Yeah.
And so you got to be able to, because if not, that guard's coming back up, that wall's coming back up, right? Another thing I gotta have safety and security. I gotta feel
Yes,
safe around you. I gotta trust that when I tell Dr. Tracy something, my business won't be out in the streets.
absolutely.
So creating a safe place for people to feel that, to feel like no judge, no harm. Don't worry about what you say here stays here. You know, those particular things, especially when you're trying to build a trusting relationship. It is so important that when people tell you things in confidence, it stays in confidence. I never ever get mad, and this may sound crazy. I stopped. I'm gonna say I used to be different, but I don't get mad anymore when Tracy said I had a conversation with your sister and she talked about you like a dog. I'm more mad at Tracy than I am my sister.
Yep.
And I'm gonna tell you why. Because my sister has an opportunity to bring that to me when she's ready to talk to me.
That's
Everybody may not be ready to have a conversation with you. And what's the
right.
first thing people say is, why are you discussing me? Because you're a part of my life.
Yeah.
And I have the right to discuss whatever is a part of my life with whoever
right.
I choose. I just wish they wouldn't have came back and told you because I wasn't ready for you to know that yet.
And so now you don't trust either one of them. That's right.
I don't trust neither one.
Yeah.
Right. So now I can't trust you because now I'm feeling like, oh, when I tell her something, she'll go back and say something.
Mhm.
So I gotta feel safe. I gotta feel safe to talk to you about the hard stuff. I also have to have honesty. Let me tell y'all something. Leaving out a little bit, you're not an honest person.
Mm-mm.
I may not ask you for the whole truth, but when I ask you a specific question, let me know. So if somebody says, oh no, because I saw him at the party. You didn't see him at the party. I know you didn't see him at the party. Let me call. Hey, did you go to Jackie party? Yeah, I went. And the other part of that is and I hooked up with this girl. You see what I'm saying? Give me all of it.
Yeah.
Integrity is what you do when nobody's watching.
That's
so we got to
right.
make sure that builds trust. No matter who watching, no matter what's going on, I'm going to be open and honest with you. It builds trust. And then once again, dependability. Over and over again, even when, have you ever had people show up for you when you didn't even call them?
Yep.
Yeah. Dang, that's like, wow. I can depend on you through the good, the bad, the ugly. And life experiences, they help build trust because I've seen how you've shown up for somebody else. And so I know you're going to show up for me. And so these are things, once again, you have other core component words that build up into one word. And so trust is a secondary emotion once you go through all of these other things. And so I want you to just think about that because it's very important. Tracy is probably in the 90th percentile of people who pick trust first. Trust is important. So when she finds unstable ground, she's not going to go straight into a relationship if there isn't any trust, right? Doesn't mean for you. You might do it, but she's not going to do that. And once again, I give everybody initial trust until it's broken. So you got to kind of know the type of people you're dealing with, you know, when we first meet people, and then how we do things. All right, next slide. So this is my number one, Tracy. So this your number two. This is my number one. Respect is a big thing for me. I always feel like if you don't show me respect, you don't value me. And so the way you talk to me, the way you handle me with care or grace or not doing certain things, not being a person who does come in and help me when I need, to me it's disrespectful. And this was the hardest thing to have people define because a lot of people knows what disrespectful feels like. But when I say, hey, how would you define respect? They would just be like, I mean, it's when you know, they would give me an action. And so once again, not knowing what you want is a start. It's always a good start. So respect for ourselves. Because if I don't respect myself, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to respect the people around me. I'm just not.
Yeah.
I don't know how to give you something that I don't even have. And so we got to stop looking for that in people that we think that's automatically supposed to be there, because that's not always true. So respect for ourselves, it guides who we are, our morals, our values, our core of who we are. But respect for other people guides our manners toward others. Me holding the door.
Let me ask you something, Keisha.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you something about respect. So when I think about the word respect, I think, to me, you know how when we talk about our relationship, you know, with God or, you know, or whomever we, you know, whoever each individual serves or what have you, like the relationship piece there is defined differently. So is there a different definition of respect for individuals, or is there a global definition and then it breaks down into subparts? What would you, because I guess
I feel like there are levels of it, right? Like I can
Okay.
respect a title more than I respect a person, right? Like in the military,
Yes,
think about the
exactly.
military.
Yeah.
You know, if the higher up you
Mhm.
go, you're automatically supposed to respect them, and you know in your mind, I can't stand them because of their title. And so there are different levels to it. But I truly believe there's genuine respect for a lot of people. But sometimes people aren't taught how to respect people. And that's an early age,
Gotcha.
even with kids, like go and apologize. You hurt their feelings. Having those little kiddos after a game, they all line up and slap hands. That's a respectful gesture, right? Even if you see before a match of anything, they usually get up and they shake the hand and then the match starts. Out of respect, there are certain things that we do. And so it's valuing other people, it's treating people with consideration, honoring who they are, their feelings, their boundaries, their perspectives. Like I respect that. I always tell people we different and I respect that, but I need you to respect me too. Because we're not gonna see eye to eye, right? And so, but that self-respect, maintaining my own standards and my own morals and values and actions. So I can usually tell, and we say this, I can tell he don't have a lot of respect for his mom. I can tell he don't have a lot of respect for his girlfriend, or vice versa. She doesn't, right?
Yeah.
Because of even just that mutual respect. Like when we work for people, we do certain things out of respect for them. I want to reply to an email, before the day is out. That's just out of respect. Okay. I don't want you to have to wonder what happened. Out of respect, if I can't make your party, I should send, disregards, or I'm sorry, I can't be there. So there are certain things, like it says, respect guides our manners. When we dealing with other people, that's not manner. That's out of manners for people. Holding the door open for them, allowing them to merge in even after they waited until they couldn't do it anymore, right? So we show respect in different dynamics the same way. Trust may be a little bit different. That's as a global, but I think like at work, respect is given when we do supportive feedback. It's done with inclusivity, as far as treating everybody fairly, treating everybody the same, regardless of their background. Romantic relationships, I want my partner to be able to help make decisions with me. I share that responsibility out of respect. My husband never has to say, where are you going? Because out of respect, I tell him before I leave. I tell him, and I just tell him, I'll be like, hey, I'm finna run to Ross. I'm finna go to TJ Maxx. This looking like a 3-4 hour day for me. I'm just getting out the house. If you need me, call me, right? I'm not just going to get up and leave my house and nobody know where I am. Out of respect, if I don't have enough to cover a bill, shouldn't I let my partner know that? Or my roommate know that, right? So there's levels of respect of how you want to be treated. This is where the good book says, treat others how you want to be treated. And so the problem comes now. We have people who don't even care about their own life. And so they don't care. That's the hard part. That's what we're living in now, right? As you look at those parent-child relationships, listening is a big respect. So we want our children to use the voice that we gave them, but I want you to use it in a respectful tone. I don't want you to be ugly toward me, right? My son, he just hit me with the wham when he said, you told me after you got through doing such and such, you was going to fix me a milkshake. Well, it's an hour later, right? So I was thinking, dang, he right. Holding me accountability. So I was like, God dang, I'm still working on stuff, but that's what I told him. So I got to be a person of my word, even on those small little things.
Even if you're your children, that's exactly right.
So if I needed 5 or 10 more extra minutes, I should have asked for that. So that way he doesn't think that I'm an untrustworthy person and who doesn't respect him. So and people could think that's blown out of proportion, but it starts with the little things, y'all. It starts with the little things. Our friendships, we gotta be empathetic. Yeah. I had a friend, past tense, who would always want to be celebrated, but when it was time for your celebration, she didn't come. She didn't show up. And my thing is that's disrespectful. Never told you why, and stuff like that. But we have to understand that a friendship goes both ways. Whatever we need from people, we got to be willing to give. And not off what Keisha want to give, but what they need from me, right? Sometimes it can be too big, so we may have to stop it because of that. But when we also think about those church or social settings we're in, like our sororities and things like that, we got to be respectful of our boundaries. We want to be inclusive to people. When new people come in, we want to be welcoming, a spirit of, and so we want to be respectful to people. You know, there's even a way to be able to butt in when somebody talking, right? So we got to be respectful, y'all, if we want to maintain these relationships. And it does go both ways. So if you feel like you're getting way more of the disrespect than you're giving respect, then you need to probably do an assessment of that relationship. And why are you tolerating it? Because a lot of times people only operate in what they have available in them. And I have heard a lot of condescending tones and things like that, and people being disrespectful, and they think it's funny. They laugh it off, right? It's no big deal. But if you allow people to keep being like that with you, that's the dynamic of y'all's relationship. So you the punching bag, you the joke. But one day you'll wake up and you'll get tired and they'll say, wait a minute, we always been like this. This is how we are. Yeah, but I didn't like it then, right? You can go to the next slide, which brings me to my favorite, communication. Whew, I could do a whole thing on communication because there are so many people who are saying a lot of stuff, but ain't saying nothing. And I'm just going to be honest with you. So think about how communication works, because we come from so many different walks of life, so many different cultures. I'll come from a place of growing up to where you don't question adults. You don't ask them why. You couldn't even tell them I feel this way. You know, now look at the generation of the way we're raising our children. We give them a little bit more. We want them to understand. We don't mind them voicing their opinion, but I need you to be respectful, right? So we create boundaries for them in order to operate with us. And so we have to teach people how to communicate. And it's so hard. I have so many adults who do not know how to communicate, but we got to practice it. You won't get better if you do not practice it. We got to get in the habit too of speaking up for ourselves. The first time somebody violates you, whatever your moral compass is or whatever your value is, the first time they step out of line, well, Keisha, how can I do that and not mess up the relationship? And so it's good for you to start practicing iMessages. iMessages are so helpful, and it's a part of our verbal communication. I'm going to get to that piece in a little bit, but I want you to think God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, because we need to be listening. I got to be an active listener. And so with active listening skills, it reduces misunderstandings. It allows me to see emotionally where somebody's coming from. Y'all, I'm putting my phone down. I'm tuning into what they're saying because I want them to feel heard and validated and respected, right? And so when we are actively listening, they get our full attention. Our full attention. So I see you, I hear you, and I feel you, right? I got to understand the words that's coming out their mouth. Do you understand the words that are coming out my mouth, right? And I'm not trying to jump in real quick with the response. I'm actually listening for understanding. That's what active listening is. I'm not judgmental. I don't have attitude because you had to bring me something that I may not even want to talk about. My husband do that to me all the time. Sometimes he'll say, hey, I need to talk to you. I'm in the middle of something. But I know if he does that, I gotta pause. Let me put down what I'm doing, and I'll cut the TV off or turn my phone down, and I'll be like, what's up? What you got? Right? Because out of respect, I want to hear what he's saying. And that's how we need to be able to communicate with each other. And then you also need to be able to receive feedback, y'all. I'm doing all this talking. And then when it's time for me I'm doing all this listening. And when it's time for me to speak up, I don't want to give any feedback. No, we fine. We good. And I'm dismissive. So think about that when we communicate, right? And this attunement word, oh, I love attunement. And I don't know if this is your first time hearing it. Some people it may be, but I want you to think it is a sense of being able to read people, emotionally read them. So when they sit down, I see that they're frustrated. I see that they're angry. I see that they're sad. I see that they're excited, whatever that emotion is. And I can pay attention to it. And then I also validate it. So it's like, oh, Tracy, you seem excited about your new job. I'm so excited for you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, and come on, what you got? Oh yeah, another job. Okay, good. Yeah. That's not what we want. I need you to be attuned with me when I'm talking, right? And allowing people the opportunity to respond. That verbal communication piece, though, is able to put my thoughts into my words. It's really hard. It's really hard sometimes when we are trying to talk to people about a hard conversation, especially when you need them to stop doing something like disrespecting me. Or simple little things. Like, it's easy for me to tell my son, oh my God, your breath stink, go brush your teeth. But I probably can't tell my church member that. Right? So instead I say, hey, you want a piece of gum? You want a mint? I don't want one. Hey, take the gum, take the mint, right? So they know, people know what that means now. And so we got to be sure to be able to speak up. And I just said iMessages. My iMessages are things that I provide clarity on, right? So I can easily say, man, you don't never let me finish. You make me sick. Every time I talk, you always over talking me. I can easily say that. Or if I'm given the opportunity, I would just say, hey, Tracy, let me tell you something. When you overtalk me, and I feel disrespected. I feel like what I have to say is not important to you. And it's like you just butting in, ready for a response. I need to be able to say what I need to be able to say to you, okay? Much better, right? Because if I start out with the negative, you already cutting me off. So advocate for yourself, y'all. Ask if you can make suggestions instead of just going straight into, I wouldn't do that if I was you. I'd never. That ain't me. I wouldn't do that. Can I make a suggestion? Have you tried this? What do you think about this? That's how we should be communicating. Not what you would do. Now, some people say, what would you do? Well, how would you handle this? What if they came at you wrong like this? And sometimes we have to pause because we want to go straight to the negative thing to do. And that's not always helpful. So if I only go to you with humbuggish stuff and all you give me is humbuggish stuff, our relationship is doomed right there. There won't be any growth. It's just us being right there in that little space, right? And think about your nonverbals. Is it matching? Am I telling you I'm okay, but then my body language is telling me don't come near me, don't touch me, don't talk to me, right? So make sure it matches, y'all. It's okay if you don't want to talk right now. You know, I'm so mad at you right now, I can't even talk. Give me a day or two. Or when I'm ready to talk, I'll call you. We got to respect that. So I enter things with, is this a relationship I want to protect? Or is this a relationship I'm ready to burn? Because if I'm ready to burn it, I'll burn it all the way down so I don't have to come back to it. But I'm going to do it in a nice way. And people never believe me because I just do it. I'm going to do it out of love anyway, no matter what. I don't want to be mean and hateful to people. And I want you to understand where I'm coming from. Because if I lead with emotions, if I lead with that, you're going to be stuck with the emotion part and you're going to miss my message altogether.
Yeah.
So communication is key in a relationship, y'all. We got to be able to communicate. We got to be able to say the hard stuff. You know, I feel alone in this relationship. I don't feel like I'm important to you. And think about your jobs. How many people are busting their butt? They've worked on a job for 5 or 6 years and don't have a raise. When was the last time you advocated for yourself? Why are you afraid to speak up for yourself? Why are you afraid to leave that job and go get another one? Right? We like stability. We love that. That's another word that we can add. And so think about those things. When you do not communicate, silence is agreement. That means whatever you give me.
You know what?
Uh-huh.
What you just said, that silence is agreement. I never really thought about that until really recently.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times I'll sit back and say, well, you know, I don't feel that way or whatever, you know, but I won't say anything, or someone says something, and instead of responding without emotion, as you said, I just kind of say, you know what, I'm not going to deal with it.
I'm not even going to deal with it. Yep.
But you know, and I think it's okay. What I've come to, and you tell me what I've come to as far as personally is, I may not be in a mind state to deal with it right now, but I do need to deal with it.
You gotta circle back. You gotta circle back when you're not at a 10. That's the same way I tell parents when it's time for you to discipline. Don't discipline at a 10. Take you a day. Go back to it and let them know, look here, I got a lot I want to say, but I don't want to be ugly and hurtful. I'm going to come back, okay? Give me a day or two or however long you need. Get your words together and make sure you articulate where you feel. And deal with facts. right? So that's why I like our messages. I feel disrespected when, I feel hurt when, right? So deal with the what's actually going on, because there when we don't communicate our needs, our emotions of how being able to connect those two, man, I'm telling you, people don't feel it. And that's why that attunement is so important. I got to be able to feel it. I got to be able to feel that Tracy's mad or upset. Because if Tracy come in and be like, I'm good. But I can feel that bitterness. We fine, we straight. I mean, ain't no problem. I know how you move now. No, let's do it. Let's have it. Let's work it out. Let's have it out. And then, men are difficult to communicate with. I'm gonna just go ahead and put that out there. So, fellas, I'm sorry. This is my own personal experience with you. But they would rather sweep it under the rug and act like it did not happen once they give an apology. You got to give people time to process that thing, right? You got to give them time to say what's on their mind. Or some people are so quick to cut people off. Like, let's just cut them off. Well, how is that going to help you with the next relationship and the next relationship? Because it's going to show up again, because that's how life works. So you're dealing with it on these things, maybe a church member, maybe, a sibling. I don't just cut my siblings off. But, siblings get on your nerves. They get on your everlasting nerve. But we gotta, that's our first real relationships as kids, is your sibling relationships and with your family unit. And so that's where we learn a lot of this stuff from. We weren't big communicators. I had to fight through this, and let's talk about it. And let's see what I want feedback. I want to know where I went wrong. I want to know how I hurt your feelings. Talk to me. Because when people can't talk to you, what does that say about you? What does that say about you? Right? So be careful with that. Okay, Tracy, you can move to the next one. But I want y'all to, this last one is my favorite one. Boundaries. Man, boundaries are so important. Boundaries are different than rules, right? Because rules are things made to keep us safe, right? So, but boundaries are things to help us mentally, emotionally, physically. They keep us safe. These are Keisha's boundaries. And where lines get blurred is when people say, well, I don't see what I did wrong. Well, I'm telling you, I don't like for you to do A, B, C, and D, right? So boundaries are what you are willing to accept or not accept. And those change, it shifts depending on who we're dealing with and what we're working on, right? It's my personal limitations, what they deal with me emotionally. Sometimes people are so overbearing to me, I have to disconnect from them for a while because I can't handle it. They're so negative, or I'm always fixing their stuff. It emotionally wears me down. And so I have to cut them off for a little while. And they know, because I'll tell them, hey, I'm going to take a break. And so feeling comfortable and sharing certain things. But once again, it's different environments we have different boundaries for. And so you got to know when to adapt and change to those boundaries. Kids, if you think about it, as they start getting a little older, they may want to lock their bedroom door because they don't want you just to barge in, right? Especially boys. I just learned that. So, but what's our first thought in the Black culture? You don't lock doors around here. I pay the bills. No, you don't do that. But if they need privacy, yeah, there you go. That's my house. But if they need privacy, what's wrong with that? What is wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? So we got to look at some of these boundaries that we create for ourselves and be vocal about them. Once again, speak up. We have to have healthy boundaries to maintain in a relationship. You will not grow without boundaries. And so if you are smothering somebody, you need to look at, do I have a dependent personality? Do I have some attachment stuff? Think about that. And they tell you you're doing too much. It's too much for me. And they keep saying it over and over and over. And you don't hear that. That's not what you hear. You hear, well, I'm just going to keep being me. And we love to say that. I'm going to just keep being me. Okay, well, you keep being you. I don't want that anymore. I don't want that anymore. It's too much for me, right? I
don't have to be part of their world. That's right.
Right. I don't like when people are belittling others or it's funny to them when people are struggling. I don't like that, I don't think it's funny because we all been there. We all one situation from a bad situation. So I don't want people in my life like that. I don't want that negative coworker just to plop down, just to cuss and fuss about everybody. I don't want that. That's not what I want, right? So make sure you know what you need in order to have a healthy relationship. Okay, next slide. Lastly, and this is how we're going to think about it. Y'all, some relationships are just meant to end. The end of the relationship.
Yes.
It can be sad. It's a breakup, right? You can break up with a church, because I'll tell anybody, I'm not following no pastor to hell or jail. I'm just not going to do it. I don't care what he needs. Well, she got to have forgiveness. I do forgive him, but I ain't got to follow him, right?
Yeah.
So you got to know when to end even a job. If you're not getting fulfilled, stop going to work and complaining and being mad every day just because they get a paycheck.
Yeah.
Brush up on your skills. Get that resume together. Put it out there. Go create your own exit plan, right? You don't have to stay where you're not valued. Make sure people are meeting the needs that you have communicated with them. This is what I need. How do I know when it's time to go? Well, I'm glad you asked. When your needs are not being met any longer, it's not a give and a take. It's just mostly you giving, and they sucking you dry, right? I don't feel supported. I don't feel fulfilled. I don't feel like this relationship is soothing to me anymore, or it's nurturing me anymore. Not to say you're not going to go through bad situations, but when you got way more bad than you got good, it's time to go. I'm sorry, it's time to go. And you do not have to stay in a relationship with anybody. You don't, especially a romantic partner. It doesn't matter if you put in 10 years. But you're still not married. So it's okay for you to leave. It's all right, right? What if you lose trust over and over and over again, constantly showing you that I'm not a trustworthy person? It's time to go, right? You're going to have this, you're going to do this. It's time to go. If I'm constantly arguing or in conflict with somebody, right? Having to walk on those eggshells, not knowing how to resolve conflict. Once again, it's time to go. And so if you're unhappy more than you're happy, if I'm not emotionally having my needs met, there's a disconnect there. There's pressure on me to change, not nobody else, just me. So I want you to think about it. And if you are being abused or manipulated, it's time to go. It's okay if it's the end. It will hurt you probably for about 4 or 5 months because it's going to be a shift. But I promise you, in the long run, you'll be able to have, you can breathe. Breaking up and breakups can happen in all aspects of those different relationships, y'all. So I want you to think about that. You know, it's not being aligned and going on the same path as what you thought you would go. Friendships hurt the most. Depends on how long you've had that friendship. So be able to assess what you're doing in each relationship and where you are. If you're feeling depleted all the time and they never give to you, pause for a moment, take a break, and see how you feel without that person or that situation, right? So whatever that thing is. All right, lastly, next slide. We're going to recap real quick, just so y'all know. When we are thinking about healthy relationships, it has to be one that allows us to grow. Healthy means thriving and growing continuously, emotionally, physically, spiritually, personally, whatever that growth is that you're looking for. Healthy relationships are not just good to you, they're good for you, right? That honey bun is good to you, but it ain't good for you. So you may not need to eat 12, right? So think about that. My needs are being met. This is somebody where we have collective growth, not just Keisha growing and me always supporting them, but they are supporting me as well. And I clap for them. And I'm so excited for them when good things happen to them. There's resilience. Yes, we can argue. Yes, we can bump heads, but we still have resilience. We come on the other side of that thing with understanding and with both needs being met, right? I'm emotionally safe around you. And you support me. So thank you for that, right? Those founding principles, trust, respect, communication, and boundaries, all of those are met. And I'm able to be honest with you and you not hold a grudge against me. And so we have to be able to have people in our lives that we can do this with, and then also the situations to where we can do this with. We need healthy relationships. People need to see them. Our kids need to see it. That's how they learn how to do conflict resolution, is through those healthy relationships. Okay. All right. Last slide. Questions, comments, concerns. I know. I hope I didn't go too fast, Tracy.
No, you didn't go too fast at all, and I like the conciseness of it. And again, it just confirmed some things for me, and I hope it confirms some things for our audience, whether they're listening now. The thing with StreamYard is you really can't see who's online, so I won't be able to see you until after the fact. That's the only bad part about it. But at the same time, I believe if they came here and really listened to the words that you, if they've taken one nugget away today, absolutely, that's essential. Because I know for me, it's very these things are essential, because relationships is they either thrive, you're either thriving or you're surviving. If you're in a relationship where you're only surviving, you may need to rethink that relationship altogether. So that's, for me, it just confirmed a lot of things, but it also gave me a lot of reflective points. So as we're going into this new year, you know, I know people are thinking about, you know, I know for me, and I know you do too, because we think it alike in that way, is we're reflecting over the year. What have we accomplished? What did we start off with and did not, when we're not able to accomplish? And as it relates to relationships, that is something that I'm planning to delve deeply into. I'm sorry, I got talking back behind me, so, that I'm able to really delve into that over the course of the next, you know, few weeks or so, and really be prepared for the upcoming year. So you always do a dynamic job, and I thank you for all that you do.
Yeah, and that was my whole premise behind it, is knowing, like, what are we leaving behind in 2025? What do we want to bring with us in 2026? We want to be able to grow. I want to be able to hopefully be a better person. That's what I'm always looking at. Like you said, evolution, the evolution of me. In order for me to keep evolving, I got to shed some ugly stuff off of me too. I can't just always put it on. I can't put everything on Dr. Tracy to have a better relationship. We don't got a good relationship because of you. Well, if that's the case, then take a pause and step back and see, is that the relationship you need in your life? People can only give you what they know how to give you. So put a little grace in there too. So if you really want something to work, you got to look at where people come from. Not everybody may have what you have. They may not have the founding principles of what you have. So if you really want it, you may have to teach people how you want to be treated. You know, so.
Or you may have to put them, you know, for me, I guess I think about it from the standpoint of a tree, you know, those who are, and I think I got that from Darius Daniels, where you talk about some people in your life are, when you think about a tree, you think about the root, the seed, the root. They're in the bottom, they're not moving, no matter what happens, you know what I mean? But when you talk about having to shed, and usually, typically, for me, let me say this: when it's come down to those people who are not my roots, they're branches, and I've had many branches come and go. Many fall off, many grow, grow back. As I get older, there are fewer that I'm willing to take on as
I'm a palm tree now. I'm just a big palm tree.
Yeah, girl, listen, that's exactly right. You know, you kind of get settled into me. I look at it, I'm over 50. You know what I mean? And so for me, I have more years behind me than I have in front of me. Now, I say that, and some people say that and they see it in a negative way, but I don't. So my life is to be lived intentionally.
Come on.
From this point forward. So you don't have to have everybody and even those individuals, to me, that are even considered close, just because I feel like you and I are friends. Like, you know what I mean? But we don't see one another every day.
Nope.
We don't, we don't talk every day.
Nope.
But when you have those individuals that are a part of that solid foundation, you don't have to do that.
You don't.
So I'm at that point, that intentionality, you know what I mean? And like you said, if I'm giving, and I'm not receiving anything from it, you have to ask yourself, is that a relationship anyway? Or is that what they say, a situationship?
Situationship. A situationship. That's right. That's right.
So, well, I have thoroughly enjoyed you today. I saw one of your episodes. I didn't catch all of it, but I'm gonna have to I'll make sure I subscribe
Oh,
to the
please.
channel and catch in this season, because you're always willing to come and be a part of the, well, you are a part of the You Are Jewel
I am
family,
a
but I
part.
mean just coming to just shed the light and give us those wonderful nuggets. And I don't know of a time that I've called you that you did not say yes,
Oh, yeah.
if it was possible. So I appreciate you all the time.
You're
And again,
welcome.
for those of you with those relations, you can reach her. You can, see all of the ways you can get in contact with Keisha right here. But when I tell you she's a wealth of knowledge, she talked on this topic today. But if you're listening now or listening in the future, there's so many more nuggets. You can go back. I was looking at our 2024 session. Our December 2024 session.
Mhm.
Every year, and I've kept several of them, the videos saved, and I tell you, it's just every year it's a different topic and it's new nuggets. So I thank you, darling. I appreciate you so
Tracy.
much.
You know, I love me some you, girl. Thank you. And I can't wait to have you on my podcast.
Oh, well, listen, whenever you're ready for me to come, you let me know. I'll be there.
I sure will. I'm lining up people for January 9th. So hallelujah.
I like a winner then, baby. Just let me know.
I will. All right. Merry Christmas, sister, and have a good New Year to you and the family.
You as well.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Have a good evening.
Thank you all for joining us here again at You Are Jewel. We are so thankful for Nikisha to be a part of our family, and also thanking her to take out time from her busy day to come and join us this evening. So we love you. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.